Pakistani opener Ahmed Sohail has indirectly accused the Pakistan team of match fixing in the ongoing CT and slammed Sarfaraz Ahmed for overpraising the team after beating England. He also alleged that more than the players, external forces that were responsible for Pakistan's recent results. After losing to India in the first game, Pakistan managed to stun South Africa and destroy the tournament favourites England to enter the final of the tournament. Between the two significant wins, they also brushed aside Asian rivals Sri Lanka. So understandably, skipper Sarfaraz was on cloud 9 after entering the finals and credited his team for the sweet turnaround of fortunes. However, Sarfaraz's comments didn't go down well with Sohail, who lashed out at the skipper by saying an external factor was responsible for the victory rather than the players. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by my colleague Avanish. Avanish, external factor responsible for this particular victory by Pakistan. Quite interesting statement coming in from Sohail. Is it a hint at saying that these matches were just fixed?
Oh, absolutely, Verghese. At a time where Pakistani fans should be beaming with joy purely because the fact that they made their first ICC 50-over final after 18 long years, and it's a new team. I mean, you look at this particular score for the Champions Trophy, just to refresh our viewers' minds, 9 out of the 11 players in the playing 11s have been new, haven't experienced this sort of tournament yet, these sort of atmospheres yet, and they've done well. Now, Ahmed Sohail, who's obviously the former Pakistan cricketer, former captain himself, has probably tarnished this team's reputation. He's accused the captain and the team of indirect match fixing. Now, there's two sides to the story. A, the fact that yes, they did get walloped by India in the opener by 124 runs, like you touched upon, Verghese. But how do they gain that momentum to beat South Africa, beat the likes of Sri Lanka, and then eventually beat the host England in the semi-final, where everyone is pitting the hosts to meet India in the final? It's turned out to be Pakistan who've made the final. So a lot of questions have been raised purely because, from a world cricket point of view, this team, which has so many unknown commodities, so many surprise elements to them, have come and now they're at the ultimate stage of the tournament, which is the final against India. Now, I can understand and I can sympathize with Ahmed's point purely because there's a lot happening with Pakistan. They have a dark history of these sort of related incidents off the field. If we can refresh our viewers' minds, in fact, 7 years ago when they played a test series in England, Mohammad Ahmed, one of the players who is still with the squad, was accused of fixing, and he was proved rightly so. So you can never fade the fact that Pakistan cricketers have been in such a controversy before, especially when the PSL last year, I think Shahjeel Khan was one of the names which popped up, and he was in the Pakistan's ODI squad. So Pakistan's history suggests that yes, this could be a problem. But having said that, it's a big tournament. It's a global tournament. The ICC's around, the BCC, I should say, all the cricketing boards are around. And they have the anti-corruption unit, the hotline numbers to prevent any such thing happening in the stadium or outside the stadium. So Ahmed Sohail's point of criticizing Sarfaraz is probably taking a dig at his own team, and it's probably tarnishing his own country, because many other cricket commentators from Pakistan per se have lauded the efforts of Sarfaraz and his men, and they believe that it's genuinely been a working hard sort of process for the Pakistan team, the fact that they've done so well in this tournament despite facing that first loss. So whether you could call it match fixing or not, there's still proof to be given out, and it's probably speculative right now. Ahmed Sohail also did say that his words were misconstrued, but we could tell the fact that he does imply these sort of derogatory sort of images. Verghese, make no mistake about it, purely because the fact that this man himself has not had too successful ODI career with Pakistan, so he's probably even jealous perhaps of this young lot going all the way, and perhaps clinching it on Sunday as well. So a lot has to be chalked down and seen if things and nitty-gritties in the system and loopholes are being crossed. But on that note, I think Ahmed Sohail should probably revise his words, because at a time where this Pakistan team needs confidence and needs motivation, needs some sort of words of wisdom, they shouldn't be getting this, especially this team. I mean, you could recall a few incidents on the field that could have gone their way. You look at the drop catch in the Sri Lanka game, people are like, oh, is it fixed? Is it fixed? And it's speculative, because we could understand in the Pakistan cricket structure, because there's certainly loopholes in that, because the system itself is not fully into place. But a big global tournament, like I said, it has to be some sort of question marks. Then Ahmed Sohail's point is too coined at the moment, Burgess.
Now, one thing that is, of course, certain from the statements that have been coming in, there seems to be an internal power play in Pakistan cricket. There are some people who are trying to reclaim the glory days that were there in the 1990s, and there are some who are taking this to a completely different level. They're trying to hold extremist views with regards to even playing matches, but then it looks like now serious questions are being asked whether there is actually corruption in Pakistani cricket.
Oh, absolutely. Like I told you, it's a long prevailing problem that exists in Pakistani cricket, and post the millennium, we should say. I mean, even during the 90s, there was a lot of match-fixing allegations, especially in the encounters of Sharjah, as we can recall, against India. Salim Malik, infamously, I should say, from 2000 to 2008, was banned for match-fixing, betting, and all those kind of things about the game, which really tarnishes the game, the gentleman's game. So absolutely, Varghese, you hit the nail right on the head there. In terms of Pakistani cricket, is probably the most easily prone to certain problems like fixing and things than the other boards, because the other boards are more vigilant, they're much more strict about their rules, and they have a lot of inside sources. With any of these small devious activities going around, they're the first to know. When we talk about Pakistan cricket, I don't think they have a proper system in place, so it probably takes a toll on them, and you can never write them off. I mean, on the field, they're unpredictable, we know that, but has it been an external factor like Ahmed Sohail is saying that they've helped the team? Purely because you look at the fact that they lost so badly in their opening game, but to take confidence and then beat all those sides, like I mentioned, is confusing, but it's also inspiring in many ways, because like I said, not many people in world cricketers around the world know certain elements. For example, Hassan Ali or Shadab Khan, they have to probably YouTube videos of PSL, and that too, it's very rare footage of these guys bowling or batting. So from a cricket perspective, it's very hard to gauge how these players have come out and how well these guys are playing, Pakistan especially. So it's hard, and you could understand it from a cricket perspective, Varghese, purely because the likes of England, the likes of South Africa, they haven't seen players like Ruman Raiz, haven't seen players like Shadab Khan, Fakhar Zaman, all these guys, so they don't know their strengths and weaknesses. Perhaps it's just the cricket which has taken over, and now it's drawing other various reasons such as fixing. I think it's a touch too harsh in this current Pakistan team per se, but we shouldn't rule out the fact that Pakistan has had a devious history of this sort of incidents in the past.
Well, one thing that is also ailing the Pakistan board is with regards to who's running it. There have been several questions raised on political appointees running their cricket board. That itself is said is a low point when it comes to attracting quality players.
Oh, certainly. I mean, every board, whether you talk about Cricket Australia, ECB, the BCCI and PCB, in this reason, politics and sport go hand in hand. We can't seem to differentiate both of them. But in the case of the Pakistan Cricket Board, it's much more worsened, because, like you said, there's certain political calls which have been taken and which has not been given that much thought to it. The selectors have done a good job, perhaps. That's the only bright aspect about the whole Pakistan system, because they've got a few new selectors in place, and they've really done well to make these finds, the names that I just touched upon before. So they've come on, they've taken their roles pretty well, but it's a bigger picture, it's a grander scheme of things which is worrying from a Pakistani perspective, because there's so many loopholes in the system with regards to not just fixing and betting and corruption like that, but also things like faking age through the younger ranks, and not knowing who's actually an under-19 player, who's an under-16 player, who's an under-23 player. So those are the small little things that Pakistan need to tackle. I think Ahmed Sohail's words, like I said, is probably just upsetting the Pakistan team, and considering it's his own compatriots who are doing so well on the field, it should be probably words of motivation, words of positivity, rather than words of negativity and indirectly accusing Sarfaraz Khan, because Sarfaraz in his press conference did seem over the moon after the result with England. He credited all down to the hard work, surely because of this team and how they've played throughout the campaign. You can't write them off, and it's harsh to really tell a team, not just Pakistan, but tell any team that they're doing well because it's fixed or it's rigged, because another team has to be involved. Let's get the facts right, because it can't just be a one-sided or one-way street here. Fixing, generally in cricket, especially in a sport like cricket, two teams have to be involved, at least a few players from the other side as well. So will this raise bigger questions in the near future? Well, only time will tell. But as of now, Ahmed Sohail's kind of hinted there are some external factors, but I think it's more speculative and a myth than substantial proof, Fergus.